Would you believe me if I told you that you were born, you were created to be affluent and abundant? Welcome to the Affluent and Abundant Network. I'm your host, Ayla Ellen. This show is here to transform that underprivileged girl or boy living on the inside of you into a baddie with a bag or a boss with a bank through leading with love in your sales so that you can impact the world around you financially. See, I believe that if money is put into your hands, that we can transform our family, our community, and our entire world. But it starts with you. And it starts with how you decide to lead. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode where I'll go over 9 areas of being affluent and abundant and how I decided to partner with God and take my life back and choose to be affluent and abundant where I am and accept my own growth journey of where He was taking me to. So, if I told you you were created to be affluent and abundant, would you believe me? Would you believe me if I told you that you was meant to always live the life of affluence and abundance? If you don't, then I don't blame you. I didn't believe so either. I was just like you. I grew up underprivileged, and my truth is that my dad, he chose to live his dream career and passion of being an audio engineer, going on the road and traveling and doing lights and sound for concerts and plays. My mom would always joke about his job being her party. So they got to hang out a lot. I remember when I was 7 years old, and I had to be about 6 or 7 years old, and we got dressed up. We were so fancy, and he took us to where he worked. Finally, right? He took us to where he worked, and it was this small play on Stony Island, downtown Chicago, like downtown on the south side of Chicago. And he took us to see this play called like Medea or something. Right now, saying it out loud now, you probably know what that was. This is like 1997 or something like that. It was, and I remember dressing up and going down to see this play on Stony Island. The lights were so beautiful. It was like this big thing. Now, I don't know if it was just my little kid, the little kid in me that just saw this massive crowd flooding into this arena, or if that's just the magnitude of what it was. And I think it's the latter. But I got to see like how fun and how wonderful my dad's work was to him. Now, my mom, she would call herself a domestic engineer, okay? AKA a stay-at-home mom. And so she took care of me and my 4 at the time grew to 6 siblings. Well, 6 of us total. And I remember that's the life that we lived. And when I was in 2nd grade, one day, I just have this flashback. I have this moment. It was this house that I loved, that we stayed in. And it was this big white and black house that had a huge front yard. My mom would garden in that front yard. She gardened and she planted these sunflowers. And these sunflowers grew like 8 feet tall. I remember this. Like, my brother and I, we used to play in the front. It was this beautiful memory. Fast forward to me being in 2nd grade, it just seemed like this beautiful life that I once knew instantly dissipated. You see, now that I'm older, my mom helped me to understand that my dad would go on tour. He would go and travel with various groups or go to various spaces that were hosting these, productions. My mom would stay at home with us. Unfortunately, this house that we love so much, I was in the moment of watching everything that we owned on the front yard. All of our dressers and beds and clothes, and the only thing I had was the backpack on my back. You see, my mom told me later on that moment happened because they were paying the landlord, but the landlord wasn't paying the mortgage. At the time, they were renting. And because of that, instantly, we were without a home. Now, my dad was about to go back on the road. He was about to leave again to go to work. And he had to either choose to go and live his dreams to be able to fund and pay for our next step, or stay with his family. And my dad chose to stay with his family. You see, money management wasn't as predominant as it is today. And so I believe my mom and dad, though living a great life, was still living paycheck to paycheck, saving a little, but living on most of it. And in this moment, we moved into a hotel. My mom and dad tried to make the best of this terrible situation. And I watched my dad lose the love that he so passionately worked for, and so sacrificially gave up for his family, just to be with them, just to try to figure it out and provide for us. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background, because I think it's important as we talk about money, as we talk about why you were chosen, you were created to live affluent and abundantly. I need you to understand that though your situation, though where you are presently, may seem as though you may not ever leave it, I want you to know that this channel will help you understand how, will help you understand to believe in why. You were born, you were created to be affluent and abundant.